Hey guys, hope everything is going well. You guys know the drill. Smash the like button, subscribe if you haven't, and comment down below. Follow me on Instagram at AIH_sports. Okay, so yesterday I did a video about what I thought was going to happen in 2022. This video is me going to talk. I'm going to talk about what I believe is going to happen to the high-end sports card market this year. And I believe that that will let us know what's going to happen in the regular sports card market. And here's the thing. I like looking at the past to try to figure out what's going to happen today, right? Those that don't know their history are condemned to repeat it. So I like looking at historical data to try to connect the dots. That doesn't mean that the past is necessarily going to repeat. It just rhymes, right? Like Mark Twain stated. And I talked about that in one of my videos that went semi-viral. Now, this is more of an economic based video, but it could still connect the dots in my opinion. So, the Federal Reserve is going to be allegedly raising the short end of the curve. They're going to raise it probably 3 times to about, 75 basis points? Or not 75, maybe it's close to 100 basis points by the end of the year. Whatever it is, right? 75 to 100 basis points. It should be around there, assuming they are not going to fall back on that promise. And people are going to be like, hey, who cares about the Federal Reserve raising interest rates just a little bit? Well, let's go back just a few years ago, 2017. I wasn't involved in the sports card market at that time. I got involved in 2018. But I looked at the data of high-end sports cards. I looked at some Mickey Mantle cards just right now on PWCC. And I've talked about the year 2017 and how the sports card market went down. But I just looked at the 52 Mantle, PSA 5, PSA 6. There were at least a few sales of that. Now, there wasn't too much liquidity. This may be the criticism of what I'm looking at, but the pattern seems to be holding up. And I noticed that for the PSA 5, PSA 6, those card values from 2016 to 2017, based on PWCC auction sales, those card values went lower. And I looked at another card just to be on the safe side. I looked at the rookie card of Clemente. Was it 55 tops? Correct me if I'm wrong. It was a PSA 8. 2016, there were multiple sales, but one of them was for about $45,000. And right around the time where the Federal Reserve raised interest rates for the third time in 2017, that card value went down over 50% in 2017. It was close to $20,000, assuming that the data I'm looking at is accurate. Yet over a 50% correction in that card, and it was only a year's worth of time. And what happened in 2017, like I mentioned before, the Federal Reserve raised interest rates 3 times. Okay? Not once, not twice, but 3 times from what I'm looking at and based on my memory. And what if the Federal Reserve says, hey, we want to get this inflation today. We want to get this inflation under control. We don't want to be blamed for all of this inflation going on in our society. So, if the same thing, a similar thing happens from 2017 and same thing happens this year, they raise interest rates, the collectibles market, in my opinion, will take a hit unless the inflation goes bananas this year. And I think it's going to probably be around the same amount of inflation. I mean, yeah, you're going to have supply chain issues. Yeah, there's going to be mandates. So, yeah, you're going to have inflationary pressures, in my opinion, but that's supposed to be expected. And we're raising interest rates right now in the sports card market, which is semi hot on the high end, but at the same time, you have to take into account. And then the tips yield, the inverted tips yield that I use. So you're going to have negative interest rates, and slowly they're going to, they'll still be negative, but they're not going to be as negative as they were earlier this year when inflation was getting crazy. So when you're getting less inflation, in my opinion, that's going to take a damper in sports cards, especially the high end. And the high end should also be an indicator of what's going to happen throughout the sports card market. Yeah, you're still going to have decent sales on players that exceed expectations. I saw a comment from a guy that watches my channel, and he said that, hey, I was buying Burrow cards and he had 525 yards, and that card went up that day. Yeah, that makes sense. It wasn't priced in that Joe Burrow is going to have a 500-yard passing game, and Joe Burrow, a lot of people didn't expect him to come off that nasty injury from last year, and he's exceeding expectations. But you have to realize, for in the pocket passers with high Wonderlic scores, those guys, they tend to do well. And I will not be surprised down the road, Joe Burrow is going to be a top quarterback after Aaron Rodgers retires, after Brady retires. Burrow could potentially be one of the top QBs in the league. I would not be surprised. And next few years, I'm definitely eyeing a guy like Joe Burrow. But once again, I'm going to wait and see. Now, going back to expectations. So if someone like Tom Brady, if he does the impossible and wins the 8th Super Bowl, yes, his card is going to be higher, in my opinion. His high-end card that sold for what, over $1 million this in 2021? Well, that probably will go higher. It doesn't matter if interest rates are going higher. The name of the game now is exceeding expectations. Cards are still slightly inflated, in my opinion. And those individuals that are great at picking individuals that do better than what's priced, congratulations, you're going to make money. But that's something I probably am not good at. And that's why I'm not going to be aggressively buying. I'm just going to be buying just for my own collection. But long story short, Fed's most likely going to raise rates. And in my opinion, the high end is going to take some sort of, will continue to take a beating. Unless if it's a card that you rarely see and it's really sought out, and on top of it, it's maybe a player that's playing right now, and on top of it, they exceed expectations. They win another MVP, right? Brady could win another MVP this year. And that's something to note. Now, I believe Rodgers should win it unless the media decides to retaliate against him because of Rodgers' views. I mean, that's where it's probably going to come down to. It's going to most likely come down to Brady, Rodgers, or Jonathan Taylor. But anyways, guys, let me know what you think. You think that 2022 on the high end, you're going to continue to see a correction in that? I see some comments here and there saying that this year you will continue to see sports cards going down. And the argument for why sports cards could be going down, and not only because of higher interest rates, it's just that, look, the virus, whatever you think about it, and whatever I've stated, it appears that it's not as bad as it was maybe a year ago, maybe even 6 months ago. And a lot of people are getting it right now, but the positive news, everyone says I'm negative. Positive news is this isn't as harmful. I thought it would continue onwards, 2022, and it would continue to be bad. But I'm looking at it and I'm like, my assessment was probably wrong in 2021. So the good news is things may slowly get back to normal. Maybe you may have more mandates. Okay. That may not be the same, but ultimately society is coming back to normal to a certain degree. And with that, will people be throwing money into sports cards? I don't think so. I still think they're going to go into gambling, the casinos. You could see people going to the games, going on vacation once this variant dies down, which I expect it to now. Even though people are getting sick right now, it's not as bad. So, yeah, that's what I see happening. Anyways, guys, let me know what you think. Smash the like button, subscribe if you haven't, comment down below, guys. Thanks. Bye.